applause going to her. As I suggested, Carly will probably not do much at all except show Kat a lot of love. Now, to sit up, while it is very cute, it is a very natural behaviour. Something, however, that you would normally see tigers doing, sitting upside the trunks of trees or under overhanging branches. And what they are doing is simply checking out the scent markings that will be left behind by other tigers. Through those markings, they can work out not only which tiger has been there before them, but even how long ago. So in the wild, a very important way for them to be able to communicate. And if you happen to see them doing that here, whether it's against the trunks of the trees or sometimes the posts on the platforms, you notice they will also rub their cheeks up against that object. That's because they have scent bags in their cheeks, so they can make their own scent there at the same time. But when they were sitting up, you'll see they get a reasonable height advantage. There are times they have to reach up a little bit higher. Fairly obviously, they're going to do that by reaching up or pushing up on their back legs. You're going to see just how high they can reach. Scott, there we've got a deer up on the shoulders. Hopefully, there we go. There's Kiko up against the climbing pole. Now, up against the tree, that's obviously where you normally see the behaviour. The tiger gets those out of the way scent marks, but also against the tree, they're going to rake their very sharp, powerful claws. That leaves not only a visual mark with scent bags between their toes, but again, leave their own scent up on that tree. And if we ever feel their claws must, and typically it is doing this behaviour, especially with younger tigers. Occasionally they forget their manners. There we go, a deer just having to have a claw adjusted now, and they hang on a little bit more than is necessary to get a little bit of reaction puncture. Now, the tigers, they don't actually need us on the trees to support themselves. They're more than capable of holding up their own weight. Typically though, you only see that when they're getting into fights. So in that situation, what they'll do is they'll square off, they get up on their back feet, freeze up their front paws, they can strike out at that opponent or grab that opponent, and the deer is about to demonstrate that very briefly. There we go, give her a big round of applause. Actually say that, of course, Scott might try again in a moment. Now to kind of go get a bit of an idea, the freed up front paws, they strike out at that opponent, they can grab or knock them to the ground and then gain the upper hand. So if we ever see our adults squared off like that, we do need to get over straight away to break up that fight, because they are going to cause a lot of injury very, very quickly. Not only with their claws, but also with their teeth. Give her a bit more of a round of applause. That's a better effort that time from Adira. So with their teeth and with me, I happen to have a plastic replica of one of their very large and impressive canines. This replica also includes the root of the tooth. So you can see it's about 12 centimetres from the bottom of the root right up to the tip. As I've said, I've only got the replica. What Pete and Scott are showing you with Adira and Kiko is the real deal, and demonstrates this that tigers have all of their teeth as well as having all of their claws. Now what you won't be able to see on each of those teeth, because you're a bit too far away, are the series of grooves which run along either side. And the grooves are there simply to allow air to pass in between the tooth and the flesh. That prevents a vacuum from being formed, which means that the tiger can then adjust its grip as it needs to. But we'll have a last look at these teeth, folks. Have another big round of applause for Adira and Kiko. They're doing a great job. And Carly, she's not really sure what she's up to. She's definitely looking for a male that might breed with her, I suggest. But anyway, what we're going to do now is step the pace up a little bit. Hopefully we'll increase Kiko's motivation by getting out the horse and the chicken meat, and we'll get her to do a little bit of jumping for us. So, focus on the Kiko. There she goes. Give her a small round of applause, guys. Making that look fairly effortless, which is not surprising. The distance there is only about 3 metres, and tigers have been known to jump distances of up to 6 metres. So, yeah, making that look pretty easy. Side on though, you can see just how much she's using her tail, not only as a counterbalance and stabiliser, but also as a bit of a momentum thing, just to help with that jump. And I think Peter's going to take her back and across one more time. On the way back, with any luck, we'll see a little more speed, because there's a nice big piece of chicken on offer, and with that, hopefully a bit of a jump off the ground as well. Well, sort of a jump. Give her a round of applause anyway, guys. And while she's consuming that, Adira over here is going to run through the same series of jumps, probably making it look even easier. But with both Adira and Kiko, you may have noticed when they are doing the jump, really only going from edge to edge. They're never putting in any more effort than they really need to, which is pretty typical behaviour of all cats. They are quite conservative. They like to save that energy for when they really need it. And when they really need it is obviously when they're hunting, and for tigers, they can explode up to speeds of about 60 kilometres an hour and do that within around 3 seconds. So they do get very quick, very fast, very quick. And that was supposed to jump. She was supposed to jump off the ground and just conserving energy, obviously. Anyway, give her a round of applause, guys. She's done some big jumps across the platform. Not such a big jump to finish up. But what we're going to do now is move on, I guess, to some more specific training. It's what's referred to or known as mark training. The marks, simply the boards that you can see the guys have collected or are collecting. When they throw them to the ground, all we're asking is that the tigers move over and put their 2 front feet on the board. So you can see it's nice and simple. The tigers, there you go, even Carly's getting involved now. So easy to do the mark training, so they get the reward. All they have to do is stay on the mark board. Now, it's very useful because those tigers that are good at it, we can then have them involved in television programs and commercials. Now, in that situation, not only do we need to have the tigers on leash, but of course there are a number of distractions. So very important that they are focused elsewhere. And if we need to move them from one point to another, we can do that, just as you'll see each of the 3 tigers doing out here over the next few minutes. Now the benefit long term of having tigers involved in that media work is that we can raise not only awareness, but also money for the Dreamworld Wildlife Foundation. It goes about to help draw attention to where that money goes. So through the Dreamworld Wildlife Foundation, we actually support organisations that work in the field, organisations like this. They support anti-poaching patrols like this team here. Now they're just one of the teams that are in Sumatran. There's another 5 teams up there, as well as a couple in Russia. But the role of these anti-poaching patrols is to go what areas of the reserve or national park that they're going to go out into. They'll typically spend about a week at a time out there. As they make their way through them, they are looking for areas of illegal logging. But also, if they're coming across snares, they are going to destroy or dismantle those. But in both situations, trying to work their way back, find the people responsible and have them prosecuted. So it's a very important role that these guys play in the conservation, not only of tigers, but all the other species of animals that inhabit those areas. Very important role, very tough job that they do, but something that we are very proud to be able to help them with. And it's something you may like to help with as well, and you certainly can. At either end of the display, you'll see that we have large donation boxes. You drop a few coins in there at the end of the presentation, that would be great. Otherwise, because of the relationship that we have with our tigers, when they are resting for the day, mostly with a deer and her sister Akash, but also our young cubs recently as well, we're able to do some pretty impressive paw paintings with those tigers. You're going to see some footage of that very shortly. There we go, as well. Now those paw paintings, we then sell up in the Tiger Bazaar, and then percent of that money that we raise goes back to the Dreamworld Wildlife Foundation, which goes back to supporting those organisations that are helping with the conservation of tigers in the wild. So, as I said, a pretty important part of what we're a part of, a very serious side as well, but also help with raising the awareness of these amazing creatures. We're going to show you some pretty cool behaviour. So with that in mind, guys, and I'd like to get as loud as you can, who out there would like to see a tiger climb this tree? Now tigers, not really known for their tree climbing abilities, but if the motivation, like a nice big piece of chicken, is right and climb, they certainly can. You're going to see just how well they can when Scott leads the deer up this tree. There we go. 4 strides, all the way to the top. Pretty simple for a tiger. Getting that reward. The good thing about a deer is that she will hang around up there, gives you a good chance to get some photos. But the even better thing is that she then has a sense also to climb nearly all of the way back down, and that's why we can safely take her to the top. That just highlights their strength and power. And keep your eyes on it, guys. We might finish up, hopefully, with a bit of a jump into the, there we go, dive to the bottom. Bit of a struggle to get that piece. There we go. Give her a big round of applause, guys. The tree climb and into the pool. And while we set up for probably one more behaviour, while she's getting into position, we have one more message for you up on the big screen.
Terima kasih atas bantuan dalam pelestarian harimau Sumatera.
So thanks guys, you play a big part in the conservation of tigers. Get your eyes on it, here are. There we go, just floating around on the back. But guys, that does wrap up the presentation. We hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget about the donation boxes or the paw paints. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.